The Roots of Success podcast is for the landscape professional who's looking to up their game. We're not talking lawns or grass here. We're talking about people, process, and profits. The things deep within the business that need focus to scale a successful company. From hiring the right people and managing your team, to improving your operations and mastering your finances, we've got a brain trust of experts to help you nurture the roots of a successful business and grow to the next level. This is the Roots of Success.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Roots of Success, and I'm your host, Tommy Cole. Man, we have another amazing guest, and yes, I do say that on every single show because all the guests are amazing, but I got a new challenge. This is my almost new friend. I don't know her that well, but I have sort of semi behind the scenes got to know Jillian Burns in the Boston, Massachusetts area. Welcome, Jillian. How are you?
I'm good, Tommy. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So let's talk about you. This is going to be such an amazing story. You're such an influential person, and you're with Burns Landscape and Snow Management in Boston area, along with your husband, Mr. Burns, I would probably assume. And then, so I am so intrigued by you being involved in a landscape company. I want to know more about it, but also, most importantly, also as well as you're co-founder of Influential Encounters, which is empowering women in the male-dominated industry. Good luck, right? That is no easy task at the end of the day. But I want to give all the credit to Mr. Bob Marks of EMI in Pennsylvania. He got us connected. I said, I want to know more about that person. Like weeks later, here we are. This is amazing. This is going to be great. So let's just jump right in. How in the world did you get into landscaping? You and your husband, are we like pushing motors or what happened there?
So my story is unique. I joined the landscape industry during one of the most challenging times in my life. My husband and I discovered that a financial embezzlement within our family business, which really put us in a significant deficit. So I stepped in to help, even though I didn't have a background in landscaping or snow. And at that time, I remember it like it was yesterday. I was pregnant and balancing the weight of rebuilding the business. And it was a really, really hard time for us. But what started as a necessity really turned into a passion for me as I discovered like how rewarding it was to build something back up, but also support my family while doing so.
Mhm.
And so, in that time, I learned so much about perseverance and adaptability and the importance of relationships along the way and how important that is.
That's great. So tell me more about the company. Like, what's the setup? How does it? You guys are heavy into snow. I can guys got the snow presence, but what's your involvement? I guess it kind of came down and build it back up. Tell me about some of those steps.
Yeah, so that was not easy at all. So at Burns, we're really big on investing in ourselves and
Yeah.
in turn investing in our team because we know that that's really what drives success. So, whether it's providing training or creating opportunities to grow or just making sure everyone feels valued, we try to build a culture where people thrive.
Yeah.
Yeah, we focus on open communication and giving our team the tools they need to do their jobs well and also feel good about it. When we invest in our people, just strengthens the whole company and, helps us deliver for our clients. So
Yeah.
that really is what our focus was like in the rebuilding stage.
That's so amazing. It's almost like, I always tell everyone people are the number one asset. Like, it's not the fancy equipment and the facility and, whatever it may be, but we always think that that is it, but it's the people. And when you invest in people, that equals success 100%. Now, you could have a bad hire, right, Julian? I'm sure you've had some, right? But you got to walk through that. You got to cultivate through all that. Tell me, investing in a team, what does that mean to you guys, investing in the team? Is that through education? Is that through like weekly one-on-one meetings? What is all that?
All of the above. So it's so important, whether it be leadership trainings or, the one-on-one meetings are so important every week. There's so many different things. Trainings, taking somebody out to lunch, making them
Mhm.
feel valued, talking about their families, not just about work. There's so many, different layers to that.
I always love the power of a one-on-one meeting. I've said this many times, but I'll say it again because this is going to be great. Say you have 5 direct reports. That's a 1 hour meeting with 5 people. What's 5 hours in a week of your 30, 40, 50, 60 hour work week? What's 5 hours of undivided attention to 5 people that report to you to make sure that they are okay? Right? And like, what do you need from me? How can I help you? Right? It's not just about your career or your work. It's also the personal. Tell me more. What happened over the weekend? What are your biggest struggles? What's stressing you out? What's keeping you up at it? I love that. That is fascinating, awesome stuff. And I love landscape. You don't know me that well, but this is great. Landscape's awesome. The most amazing industry. I love it. We get to put smiles on people's faces. That's sort of my mission. We're here today doing this, and nothing is more rewarding. My wife says it. She's like, sometimes you get all stressed out all the time, but like, look what's the impact you get to do every day. Put things in the ground, make cool projects, put stripes in lawns, and get the snow the heck out of these facilities so you can put a smile on your face, right? How is Burns today? Fast forward, you're doing like getting this house built. How are we today?
Yeah, so we're doing really well. We've shifted our focus. We've had many failures along the way, but that, allows for growth personally and professionally. We've learned so much. We are heavily involved in the snow business. We have a very smaller company anyway now, and we're focusing on commercial snow, commercial landscaping, and we're doing a lot of design build
Yeah,
out there now. That's really where we're shifting our focus now because we're really good at that.
cool. And that's still going as today. Your husband's running it. Everything's good.
Everything's good.
Are you
Yeah,
part of the organization now?
I am.
Okay. What's your role?
Oof.
Everything?
S- So I guess my role within Burns has really like evolved over the years. Initially I was in the trenches learning everything from the ground up. I had a
Mhm.
business background, but I was doing, anything from operations to finance to client relations, you name it, all the things. Now I really focus on leadership and strategy and ensuring that we're just maintaining the business, but continuously growing and improving. I'm super passionate about developing systems that work and empower our team. I do oversee our snow operations, which is a major part of our business, like I just mentioned. But, I'm just making sure that we're prepared and we're delivering, the quality service that our clients really depend on.
It's something that always needs to be evaluated, right? Leadership's
Absolutely.
ongoing thing. I got a great question. I'm going to throw you a curveball. Don't be nervous. Did you play soccer in college or high school?
I may have.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell me about playing a sport, being an athlete has carried over into your career. I've been there. I know where you're going. I know part of this, but tell our audience what that means. I'm raising a teenager right now. We're heavily involved in sports. Everyone knows this. If anyone knows me, I'm highly invested into it. Tell me about the things that you learned that has carried over to your career.
So I did play college soccer and I was a defender.
Oh,
And I always, the way that I look at the position that I was in college, I was a defender, and defenders don't really get the recognition that the forwards do. They're protecting the net,
mhm.
which I feel as though my position at Burns is very similar.
Oh, yeah.
Beh I'm behind the scenes. I'm protecting the net. I'm not getting the recognition. Not that I want it, but it's a very important role within the organization, just as
Yeah.
it is on the soccer field. So that's where like, you're always working, you're always, preparing yourself for the next day, for that next, making sure you're keeping your teammates, you know, abreast on what's going on and what's going to happen, what the next move should be. Yeah.
That's amazing. I did a small stint of college athletics and I was tennis. That was my gig. I loved it. It was the lowliest sport known to man. It's the only sport that has no coach during the match. And you have to figure it out on your own. That taught me, and I'll share this, mental toughness. It was great. I love it. Had to figure things out on my own. And when you're in a 1 to 2 hour grueling match, it's you, the opponent, and all the obstacles and the court and the wind and the weather, you name it. You got to figure it out. I mean, someone can yell something, but there's no coach, there's no caddy, there's no halftime, there's no intermission, there's no nothing. It's just solely an individual sport. I love athletes. They're great because there's a sense of team, there's a sense of camaraderie, there's discipline involved. You got to show up on time when you don't, when the weather's cold or it's hot. You got to embrace your failures. When you get your butt kicked, it's tough. So I like that. That's why hopefully you didn't go there in a different route. But soccer, I used to play soccer in high school. I had to choose soccer and tennis. I chose tennis, so don't hurt me. But all's good. What I would love to get into now is influential encounters. This is the cool part. And I think this is the juiciest part. First off, what is influential encounters?
So influential encounters. So Val, Lisick, and I teamed up to create influential encounters. So it was born out of a desire to create a space for women in male majority industries to connect, inspire, and grow. When I entered the snow and landscaping industry, I realized how few women were in these roles. But I also saw our potential for change. So IE really focuses on bringing women together to share experiences, build support networks, and empower one another. So we really focus on creating opportunities for women to have a voice, develop their leadership skills, and feel seen and valued in industries where they've often been overlooked. So, our mission with influential encounters is to meet, inspire, and influence women to know that they can succeed no matter what the industry is that they're in.
Yeah, how long has this been going on? Is this relatively new?
It's relatively new. Val and I started the company in October.
Okay. Yeah. Right. So how did you meet Val?
So I met Val through her husband, Scott, who's in the industry. I've known Scott for many, many years now after attending a couple different conferences, and he's been fabulous. And at the SIMA Snow Symposium in June, I spoke on a panel for women in snow, and I was out there by myself, and he invited me to dinner with, 5 or 6 other gentlemen. And at that dinner, he was like, "You need to meet my wife, Val. You guys would get along great." So the next week we hopped on a call.
Wow.
And hit it off. I pitched my idea and she pitched hers, and we just said, "Let's do this." And we hit the ground running, and we haven't stopped. It's a lot of fun, a lot of work.
That's awesome. So what do you guys do? What are they, is it as a meetup? I think you guys do some coaching or something, but tell me what the message the day-to-day message that you're doing, and what are the meetups about?
Yeah, so we're hosting networking events where, they're essentially dinners, and where we have a keynote speaker that comes in, and we go through different exercises, and we'll have a topic for each event. We're hosting an event in April in Pennsylvania, and we're doing another one again in June in Michigan, and then we'll be back in Boston for December. And it's workshops, and we're also doing coaching where, we have a lot of big ideas. We're taking it sort of slow, but we have a lot of things that we're working towards.
Yeah. What are some of the challenges in snow and being in the mail industry? I obviously don't have a lot of experience. I do have experience in this industry starting out as a kid. I went to college. I got a landscape architecture degree, and I'll never forget my very first job. I lived in Phoenix, Arizona, and moved from Texas. And so here I am, this Texan sort of, in boots and jeans. I go to work at this design firm. I'll never forget one of the first days on my job. I meet this guy that's about 60 years old, and you can tell he's been very well experienced. And I get on the job, and he goes, "Basically, you don't know shit." And okay, there's a little bit of that. I get it. there's also like, man, that's Will Ruckling. Here we go. I got a guy that's 60 years old and has probably been in the industry for 30 plus years that knows a lot, but also can bring something else. And I want to learn, I want to understand. What are some of the roadblocks that you face along the way in this male dominated industry that you've been successfully like, yeah, I've conquered that.
So, I mean, a lot of the feedback that we've received from hosting the December event in Boston was, like there's this unconscious bias, right? How do you
Yeah.
handle that? And, even simple things like asking for a raise or having difficult conversations, how do you navigate those? How do you show up? And just to be respected and understood within the industry. I'm a mom of three. There's moms out there. There are a lot of women that wear many, many hats, and it's not an easy industry to be in, but to feel supported is, the number one takeaway from our Boston event is how do we get more of these women in the same room, because it's just so powerful.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think when people go to these meetups, they feel more empowered to have the tough conversations about a raise or move for a different division and not be so like intimidated? Is that right?
100%. After the event, we talked about Bob in the beginning of our conversation. I had a conversation with Bob after our event, and he was just like, I love what you're doing. And here's an example of why. And he had sent one of his employees there, Katie, and he was like, Katie came back and she's she's using her voice. But the thing is that voice always existed, but now
Mm,
she's more confident,
mhm.
and she definitely felt empowered. So like that's what we want. We want it to, empower her, but also be, something for the company to reap the benefits of that, right? You want to empower your females within your organization just to, have that voice.
Yeah. Great case. Bob's fired up about Katie. We're giving Katie all this love. I met Katie last year, last June. Rock star, by the way, employee, account manager, by the way. I do believe, and I'm with you. Women can seem like it's on the inside. They know they have it, but there's not a platform or some sort to understand. I have several women, and I think I have women in every ACE peer group of mine, all of mine, all four. And they actually have a lot of men and women, husband and wife. It's been fascinating. I will tell you this though, um, for the wife being there, thank God. Cause I'm not sure husband will be like where he is today without that person sitting next to him. And there's several of them out there. I won't name them, but they will listen to this episode and they're like 100% right. And they will nudge and check on the husband going, that's not happening in our organization. Why? That's it's almost like an accountability piece because tell us what you believe women have the capability of doing that a lot of men are like, not happening. Forget it. We're almost like too black and white, like myself. And they have this ability to see the soft side, but then go something about raising kids and having patience along the way. I think I may be tipping it off a little bit, but tell me more about that.
So when I first started with Burns, I had to learn every aspect of the business. And then it came time for us to be, meeting with our leadership team and presenting to our leadership team and stating facts. And I love the data and I love the systems that we have in place. So I would put together a presentation and spit out the facts. And it was like nobody wanted to hear it from me.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't understand why. And then I just changed my approach because facts are facts, right? And once I shifted my, focus and, the way that I went about the conversation, it was definitely received a little bit better. But that for me was like, oh my gosh, here I am putting together this presentation, putting a ton of work into it. going through everything with a fine tooth comb, and it wasn't received as I had expected it to be. And after that, I really shifted my focus on how can I deliver this message so that they understand it, so that they think that they value me. I'm here to help them. I'm not here to hurt anybody here. And that was really, really hard for me.
Yeah. I would have done the same thing. I would have been just like you, Julie. I would have been like, this is how it is. Gross profits here, net profits here, revenue sure. We're like, that's totally the wrong approach. I'm with you. I'm black and white. I'm a little harsh sometimes. I just can't tell how it is. But at the end of the day, that's not how they should be treated. They got feelings. They need clarification. Everyone interprets things differently, right? Some of the audience I talk to are like, I love it. I'm ready to jump on. I'm ready to run through a brick wall with Tommy. A lot of people are like, well, hold on. Tell me the value in it. Tell me where we're going. Like, what's the reason behind this? Where should we be at? That's where leadership, and especially women, can provide that. I think men oftentimes struggle with being so direct with their things. So give you all the credit. Talk about women have patience, and how does that translate into the business in the world or anything that they're doing?
I think of myself, I have a ton of patience with my kids, with my husband, with my peers. But I often, my husband will react, and that's not to say it's a bad thing, but
Right.
he will have the answers just like that. And for me, I have to, you know, digest the information, really think about it before I make my next move.
Yeah.
And sometimes, an email or something will come through that really ticks me off, and I want to respond, I want to react, but I don't, because I have to be patient with that. I have to be patient with my own emotions. I have to, really let things set in to say, like, is it worth it? Or like, no, it's
Yeah.
not. Just do what you do and you will be fine. Just be patient.
Yeah. Oftentimes, I think listening is women do really good at listening. Men don't. Men don't really. That's okay. That's when we coexist. But women are great at listening, almost pausing. And I've had to do that over the last many years of learning, of just listen more as people discuss and understand where they're coming from. Um, I'm sure you had to learn that in a leadership role. Like, you got to listen to what the team is telling you, right? So tell me about, there's got to be some ways where they want to be involved and they want to provide feedback. So you can't go into that leadership meeting and say, "Oh, I got this idea. We're going to do this," and take it or leave it. Although some of my old bosses would say that. But tell me about the feedback from people that you got to receive and how that's really good for you.
Oh my gosh, feedback is so, so, so important. And it, when we walk into meetings and we have these great ideas, we do bounce it off of our team members, just to say, like, this is what we're thinking and this is why it will be good, or this is what will work for us, or so we think, and we want to know your thoughts. And they will come back to us, and they might say things that we might not even have didn't occur to us. And that's usually when, I like to say magic happens, because now our brains are all working together, and how can we make this work or tweak something? So that really has helped us. And then in turn, for influential encounters, we've, after our Boston event, we sent out, a questionnaire for feedback.
Yeah.
The good, the bad, anything. Send it our way, because we want to know what's working or what worked. And, for that event, it was just more like, how can we bring more of these events to life? Like, what can you guys I want more networking. I want, more coaching. I want retreat. I want all these things. So, like, Val and I really had to, like, put our brains together and say, all right, this is what our focus is. And we need to, shift things here or there, and let's just make it work. You have to
Yeah.
listen to the feedback.
100% continuous feedback. That's like my most favorite thing. When you get continuous feedback and you invite it, and people are willing to share their thoughts and ideas. The teams that we run, they're full of energy and full of ideas. We have to sort of like women are really good at this, dropping down the barrier and welcome them in and provide feedback along the way. I was on a trip the last few days in Florida, and I was talking to someone and he said, yeah, it's like a two-way street. If you just keep going and driving your direction, you driving your speed, you doing your own dashboard and expecting everyone in the rearview mirror to follow you with no feedback coming the other direction. This is a great analogy, right? Then there's no road. There's a road by myself with, I might have a few followers, but that's it. But if I can encourage the feedback to come the opposite direction, I got to hold that steering wheel a little tighter. I got to pay attention. I got to be aware. I may have to listen, right? And that feedback loop coming the opposite direction is super, super important. So you guys have the ability to listen, to learn, continuous feedback along the way. God, this is great stuff. If you're not getting excited like me, then you're crazy. Is there any challenges or lessons learned along the way that go, man, that really stuck out in my memory bank? Anything?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Do we have all day?
Seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really challenges have played a huge role
Yeah.
on my journey. From the betrayal from the embezzlement and to rebuilding the business from the financial hardship. Those times really shaped who I am today. But like I said in the beginning, one of the biggest things that I learned was, that perseverance and adaptability are everything. Success isn't really about like avoiding problems. It's how you handle them when they come your way, because they will.
I
And
have to write this down. So bear with me.
sure,
So what you said, this is so good. Success is not avoiding problem. You got to hit them head on.
100%.
I love this. God, I love it. Great stuff. There's always moments in our life where we look back and go, gosh, wow. You never want the embezzlement to happen. You never want the hard time, but looking back, it was kind of like, okay, that's probably a moment I had to go through, or actually we had to go through. In a million years, you probably never want to go through that again. So it's not like you encourage it or want that to happen, but that's what you built as you. That's why that's why Burns Snow and Landscape is growing, thriving. That's why IE, Influential Encounter, is now thriving, right? Because of that success story. So there's always those moments in life that are almost gonna happen that we just have to embrace and go, how am I going to react? I can sit here and hide under a rock, or I can pick up the rock and chunk it.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
it's so important to surround yourself with the right people too.
Yeah.
And, whether it's your team or your clients or your mentors or just the people around you that do make the difference. And again, failure doesn't mean it's over,
Yeah.
right? It's
Yeah.
just
Well,
the start of what I like to say, something better.
right. What's the future of Influential Encounters? Like, what's the big dream here? What if you could just sort of like magic wand poof, this is it. This is what this is what I envision.
So the future for me and everything around me is all about growth, for myself, for my business, for influential encounters. I guess like on the burn side of things, we're focused on scaling sustainably, developing our team and really honing in on like our service offerings. But for influential encounters, like I really envision it becoming a move, connecting women across the male majority industries, hosting events nationwide, and creating simply a lasting impact. So
What you're doing is fascinating. It's almost, we got to get people like you more involved. We need to have a peer group of women only at our company. And you guys get to travel and see the women that do landscaping and do speaking. And we got to figure out a way to get you involved with our business and help your business. I think that something in the works there that I'm going to try to put together. I know a lot of amazing, I met some women last week in Orlando. They're taking over one of them's taking over their parents' business. She's a little shy. She's not sure. She's under the wings. She's the woman, right? And she's like, how the heck do I do this? And I'm like, you got it. You can come. So she's going to come down to New Orleans in March for our Ace Discovery event where we introduce new aces. I said, you can do this. This is it. And she had a little smile on her face. Like, I think I got there. That right there. I need to push her your direction too. I think she's up in the Northeast as well. So I'll have to push her your direction.
Love that.
Jillian, I noticed a couple things. I will another curveball. You had a couple of books that I recognized on your website, and it was Traction and it was Deep Work. Did you know that was there?
I didn't. You know what I did? I did
Are
know that
those
was there.
work?
Yes, they are.
Okay. Why are those two? I didn't recognize the third one, but I do recognize the two, Deep Works and Traction. Why do those books mean so much to you to be on the face of your website?
I believe structure and holding yourself accountable is so important, and following systems, right? You have to set yourself up for success, whether it's through books and mentors, and it's important.
Yeah, I love those two books. I was like, there's something between us that is pretty cool right now because it's really small, but if you go to their website, influentialencounters.com, awesome website. You and Val have done a phenomenal job of branding. Actually, this is great. If you're a landscape company, go check their website. It's fascinating. It's very simple. There's a there's sort of like a page there that I saw that's got some swag gear, a beanie hat, and this sort of empowerment that it's got all the right colors. It's got the right gear. Am I saying it right? But anyways, look at this page. It's good quality photos. You guys are engaging, little here and there. Tell me more how you came up with that. Fascinating website.
Thank you. Yeah, so we are really set on our brand. Personal branding is so important. We are putting ourselves out there, and we're very passionate about what we're doing, and we want those around us, or those that are looking into our, events or our coaching or anything, to see like we are who we are, and we take that stuff seriously. From the colors, from the events, everything is an experience for all those involved. And from the second that you sign up for one of our events, we mail out swag or whatever it is tailored to that specific location. Like our Boston event, we mailed out those Boston sweatshirts that are in that photo. Just a simple little touch that, from the details, all the details are so, so very important. And you'll see that translated in the events that we host.
Oh, that's great. You and Val, you're laughing, you're cutting up, you're engaging. You can feel the energy on the website, which is fascinating. Jillian, we're getting close to the end. This is always my favorite part. I'm going to ask you a question. What's one advice that you can leave with the audience? But let me back up and do some Tommy takeaways. A little cheesy, but it works very well. So I'm going to say Burns Landscape and Snow Management is the company that I like a lot because they went through some major financial hard times and they didn't give up. So if you're in your business right now and there's challenges, hit them head on, encourage them and pound them in the face. You will overcome it 100%. Just keep grinding. We're here for you. I learned a lot about an athlete, a college athlete that's defender. I love it. My son is a catcher, teenage catcher in baseball. It's his favorite sport. Catcher gets zero recognition, no awards, no MVPs, no nothing. But the minute something goes wrong behind the plate, they complain. But as long as they're not complaining, I think my son's done his job. Some other things. People thriving, leadership, one-on-one meetings. I love all that. This is facts. If you go into a meeting, you got all these facts, you kind of blow them up and you don't listen to the feedback that's coming your direction, then basically you're talking to the wall at the end of the day. You're going to clam up and get no feedback. I love the fact of structure and accountability, the systems. My thing about your website I just learned is everything is an experience. Everything's an experience, right? Good or bad, right? So you might have ordered the food, it come in wrong, bad experience. You might have ordered food and it came out perfect. It was the most amazing meal you've ever had. Great experience. One of my most favorite things, I'm taking these are quotes with me. If you're okay with that, success does not avoid the problems, hit them head on. God, you're full on today. If there's any word of advice, Jill, that I've missed or you want to really hone in, what is it for our audience?
So don't let your past define your future. No matter where you've been or what you have experienced or the challenges you faced, you're the one. You have the power to change the narrative and build the life that you really want. And every setback is really an opportunity to be stronger. So keep showing up, keep learning, and remember that being successful is essentially a journey, not the destination.
Now, life's a journey. We get to choose it,
For sure.
right? That's the best. Life's a journey. If you keep focusing on the results way down the road, you'll never get there. It's just putting in the work every single day, putting the time with the family and the friends every day, getting 1% better and enjoy the journey. Jillian, it is a huge pleasure to have you on. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule. Go check her out. Awesome person. Once again, influentialencounters.com. Her and Val on the face of that website. Hit them up. Follow them on social media. They're on LinkedIn and Instagram. Is that correct?
Correct. Yep.
Yep. So go hit them up, follow, like, and enjoy all their travels. There's several events that she mentioned throughout the year. They're on the website. I saw those, but give her a follow, give her a shout out, and give her some good vibes. Thank you again, Jillian. It's been awesome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Ready to take the next step? Download our free profitability scorecard to quickly create your own baseline financial assessment and uncover the fastest ways to improve your business. Just go to mcfarlandstanford.com/scorecard to get yours today. To learn more about McFarland Stanford, our best-in-class peer groups, and other services, go to our website at mcfarlandstanford.com, and don't forget to follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. See you next time on The Roots of Success.